Now, sticking with South Sydney, but we're going to be positive for once. And they don't really deserve it because they've been pretty dire this season. But young Jai Gray had a pretty handy debut this past weekend against our Cronulla Sharks. More than held his own in a very, very difficult circumstance. There's talk that if he plays well for the next 2 weeks, Latrell Mitchell might be shifting to centre. I think that's a very public way of saying, oi, Trell, when you come back, you're playing centre.
Yeah, I think there's also the opportunity for this guy to show, if he can show a little bit of ball playing, that he may be an option in the halves instead of Dean Hawkins. However, look, don't get me wrong, Jai Gray was really good. He's really small though. He is like incredibly small, and I think Cronulla, although comfortably won the game, didn't really challenge him enough in the air. Like, there should have been a lot more traffic going his way, and I think because Cronulla lost their early challenge on the disruptor rule that no one knows anything about because it's an opinion-based rule, I think they would have sent more traffic to him. I like the idea of shifting Latrell to fullback, from fullback to centre, where he is one of the classiest centres that we have seen. And I think Jai Gray, him in the centres, and I think you got to move Jack Whiten into the halves because although he's been really good in the centres, he's been stifled of limited ball, and you need his kicking game as well. Jack Whiten's got really good long kicking game. Now, he may kick the ball out on the full once a game, but he can kick the absolute hell out of the ball. And if there's one thing that Souths can't do is kick themselves out of trouble at the moment. I know you lose a lot of organisation if you've got Jack White and Cody Walker in the halves, but you got to try something because what they're doing at the moment, it just ain't working.
There's just no size in that team, and too many teams are running over young Hawkins, which I'm not having a go. He's playing above where he probably should be at this stage, to be honest, with what happened with Ilias. I think Gray's done enough to get the next 2 weeks, even if he has a knock this weekend.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
He comes back, he'll get the next 2 rather after their bye, of course. I just think you got to get the trail out of fullback. You need your best players putting in, and he's just not at fullback. And maybe it's a lack of effort, maybe it's not, maybe his body's just not up to it. But if he's going to have 15 good touches compared to 30 touches, taking the 15 good. We saw last week, Joe Manu, who's a centre turned fullback, ran for 340 metres. I think they ended up on that 70. They took 30 off him for some reason. I don't know, don't particularly care. And then Latrell Mitchell the week before ran for 80. Mitchell is a more imposing figure than Manu, but he ran for almost 240, 250 metres, depending on which one you go with. Less than him. It screams. You got to move him back to the centres. And of course, Whiten's got to go into the halves. We said it in the preseason. He'll be the 5'8" before round 5 or 6. They've held on. They've dug in their heels. I think they've got to make the obvious moves. I don't see him winning the next 2 games, no matter who they run out. But after that, for the sake of next season, because this year's gone, next season, they have to start winning games. Or the South Sydney Aura is going to go. They're going to go, hey, you want to play for South? And they'll be like, you guys are terrible. You don't have a good coach. You had 12,000 fans turn up when times were bad. They need to turn the perception of the club around and get back to being South Sydney.